right. And we are not live. I Lord Podcast here. Lord Addict, Lord Cognito representing, talking that Assassin's Creed Shadow preview event. Shout out to Ubisoft for allowing us to attend this event and get some information to provide the realm, our thoughts, right, Addict? So I'm going to let you run this thing, man. How we feeling? What's the vibe? Wherever you want to start.
So I do want to put some, disclaimers down. One, we're technically supposed to say this, but we always say it anyway. This isn't the final build, guys. Don't take any from like a performance aspect or certain glitches. Obviously, take them into account when you're considering buying Ubisoft Assassin's Creed Shadow. But what we played is not the final product. So I think what we need to do is I think we need to go over, the combat, go over, because I know there's a lot of comparisons to Ghost of Tsushima. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, briefly talk about the story just off of what we played. But the first thing I would think we should go is like, how much time did we play? Right. The conditions of the actual, preview, because we both did the preview. It wasn't just one, and we did it a day apart. Cog literally just got out of his, and I did mine yesterday. Oh yeah. So he's coming fresh out of it, and I'm nice and cooled down. So.
Yes, sir. 4 hours strong. 4 hours strong on footage, man. No question, man. So yeah, where you want to attack first? Where you want to go with Shadows?
Let's talk where how much we played. So it's a 4-hour preview. Now they. To me, they kind of giving you a general concept of what a good portion of the game is, and where it's like collecting information, revealing people, and like assassination. That's what it kind of seemed to me. I played as the female assassin, the whole thing. I know I'm gonna butcher her name. Do you know how to pronounce her name?
I believe it's Naoe.
Naoe. Yeah, I played as her, and me and Cog went into this like. You play as you say the whole time. I'll play as Naoe the whole time because we wanted to come in here and not only explain to you guys our perspectives, but also educate each other because the other person didn't really play the other. Yeah. They do make you play as the other person at the very beginning of the game, but besides that one aspect, I didn't touch Yusei whatsoever.
Yes.
So go in with your perspective on that, on what you did. So clear. You played as Yusei the whole time.
Yasuke, Yasuke. I think that's how
Yasuke. Yeah. So what I'm curious when it comes to the Yasuke thing is like, obviously, you should theoretically have a different experience that I did because I'm native and you're not native to the land.
Right.
So how was the aspect and story when it comes to you, because I don't know how it's gonna like they kind of treated me like an outsider a little bit too, but I'm curious what your opinions on it was.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. They definitely had some, without spoiling too much, they definitely had some historical context of how he arrived, and I think what's interesting is the approach they took, because they chose to tell this game in a way that, okay, like you said, we're gonna focus on both of them individually first and give you a feel. So from the Yasuke perspective, it was like, okay, why you're here, what's going on in the circumstance you're here, and then where this is going. And again, this is feudal Japan. This is, again, that, Nobunaga era. And for those, the history buffs, they, I think, will appreciate some things that are aspect of how they choose to approach it. Now, as far as like the gameplay, he is... Because, again, I remember even though me and you came into it saying, okay, you're going to play Naoe exclusively, I'm going to play Yasuke exclusively, the game lets you play both of them individually to kind of show how their paths align. And then from that point on, post-prologue, they let you, then you can pick them individually and stay with them, if you choose to, or switch back and forth. But let's get to Yasuke. So Yasuke, very bruising style. Right, it took me a while. Like he got a little Ghost of Tsushima energy. You got your strong attacks. You got some.
Real quick, I do want you to put in because I was very curious on that.
Yeah,
guys, Yasuke
Yasuke
is gigantic.
He is huge.
I kind of compare him to like, how like when you play like From Software games or like any type of games like that in general, where like there's the bigger brutes that come out and you fight, you're like, oh, there's the big boy. Yusei is the big boy.
Yeah. He is towering over most NPCs.
Almost every, even the shoguns.
Like even the shoguns, yeah. Huge, huge. And the thing that I like, obviously for cultural significance, is that when you're walking through a town, some of the townspeople will give you the look. Like, yo, we never seen, say something like that. And there was some comments made. I was like, I kinda respected it because it felt indicative of the time period of what you would see if this type of individual came to your land that you've never seen people of this culture before.
Yeah, and then when it comes to like the online infrastructure of like what's going on with the game online, that was the biggest thing I was trying to tell people. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, at the end of the day, as long as they tell a story that makes sense to the narrative and what's going on,
Yeah.
everything else is good. And to me, the first like 3 minutes, like it's not like they were treating him as an outsider because they was, but it felt more like they were treating him better because they didn't like his hosts. So like to me, it was like I could see that actually happening. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, for sure. That part felt real from my perspective. I appreciated that part. But yeah, to the actual play style of him, he is very bruising. Again, very physical. Once I started to get into his special abilities, what I realized is that he's got this like strong lunge attack where he comes down with the sword, very powerful. Assassin. This is a brutal game. You can really the blood, the gore, the dismemberment, cutting people's heads off, finishing moves. And what I like is he also got what I call this is Sparta boot. This is Sparta. You do that kick. You know what I'm saying? He got one, bro. It's hilarious, Addict. They go flying across, like literally almost.
see, they don't go flying like that when I do it. Like when I did it as her, like they would move a little bit. But
Yeah.
what I appreciate about this is like they treated both characters like you would realistically see both characters being treated. He's gigantic, so a lot of his moves are going to be way more brutal, way more physical. And she's more about agile. She wants to like go around the map. I actually had like a kunai, not a kunai. I had a sickle and a chain, and I had the hidden blade. I don't know if you had the hidden blade.
No, he does. Yasuke does not have. He can assassinate if he gets a drop, but he doesn't have. It's a more of a brutal assassination, and it's kind of harder to sneak up on people with him. He doesn't have none of that. no blade thing like that.
What I like is they were very extra about that. If you picking him, you not playing Assassin's Creed. You play Ghost of Tsushima. But if you picking her, you playing Assassin's Creed because my chick had a grappling hook. Did yours?
He
I had a grappling hook. I was able to get on the rooftops,
Nice.
assess the situation. To me, it seemed like he just busted indoors.
Yeah, he's very Ghost of shit because what happens
he
is
literally can run into doors and bust.
yeah, you can do the run and then break doors down. And then what I like is he got a bit of Ghost of Tsushima energy. Two things. One, in the middle of the fight while you're doing your combat, you can press up on the D-pad. If you have rations, you can heal, and you press up on the D-pad to heal. But the thing I like is that because he's really not stealthing around, when you walk up into a situation and enemies see you, you can announce, I am here. Like dudes be like, yo, put your sword away. Why you got your sword out?
You could be that extra.
Yeah, you could be like, I am here. And then they be like, oh, all right, it's on there, smoke. And then the samurais are run down. Like, there's an honor in not sheathing your weapon, but if you have it out, dudes are like, yo, bro, you about this? You really want to do that? That kind of energy. I did like that, man. So, yeah, I think
it kind of feels like two games in one. Like,
it does. And I'm gonna tell you, I
didn't experience none of that. I ran.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna be honest. I was getting murdered in this game.
Nanoe's
I must have died 50 times.
So her health pool, I'm assuming, is much lower. Because
I don't know what your health pool is, but I felt like I hit once or twice, and it was game over for me.
Yes, and I did feel like with her, she like the dodging was critical. Like, you know what I'm saying, and her movement was just like. Beautiful movement, beautiful parkour. Like, tell me about like how she's getting around.
She gets around with hook shots. She does. I'm pretty sure you have it too, like the viewpoints where you can look where everything is.
Hold down left trigger, see objectives, see points of interest. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so her biggest thing is they want you to stick to rooftops. I don't know. Can you say even like climb stuff to that degree?
He is brutal. He's on some like if the ledge got to be like right at eye level, and then he can climb. Like he ain't doing
See,
no running up, scaling up. Like you know how like most Assassin's Creed or Ninja games, you know you can really get up top and man to man. Oh no, he's none of that.
see, that's what I love the most about this perspective. They didn't just split two characters. They're like not only like because a lot of these games, let's be honest, it's the same experience. It's just male or female. This game, they like not only we're going to split up the characters from like you know a race standpoint where their one character is going to get treated different to the next one, and keep in mind she's still a woman, so
Right.
you know back in the day they weren't really trying to mess with that either. So you know and what's funny is there was a scenario where he popped in and you could tell the disgust when she shows up. They're like, why are he sitting you? Like, it's just like and at least if you say what like, you know, even though they you know, culturally they probably ain't really, you know, messing with him like that. When he shows up, you see this big 6'12" dude coming up. Like you feel a little bit more comfortable than, you know, she would pop up and dude, I could tell like some of them don't say, but you could tell like the like uncertainty. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It is what I like about it is just like the difference in gameplay. Like I felt very fragile almost at all times. Like there was this one point where we were sneaking into like this little small camp, and I died probably 10 times. It got to the point where I was causing so much havoc in one area that my demoist, that's for others you don't know, when you do this Ubisoft things, you have a person that actually is there. They don't backseat game unless you ask. They're just there to make sure you don't get lost and stuck on an area too long.
True.
And he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never seen them. Like, because I was causing so much havoc, I don't know. And what's funny is when I was fighting one of the bosses, because I got to the point where I was starting to get nice with homegirl. Like I started understanding. If he hits you, you are dead.
It's a wrap.
The game is to not be hit.
Yeah. And for Yasuke, it's different. You will, you know, they will try to throw a lot of enemies at you. They will try to corner you when you fight.
Are they a lot faster than you?
When you fight enemy shinobi, that's when you feel weak with Yasuke because they're so much quicker than him. They get around, they'll throw smoke bombs, they'll throw, you know, ninja stars at him. And the thing with
I hated those smoke bombs.
Oh, those smoke bombs are so annoying. I hated those.
There was this time, and I'm sure you know, where we was in like this temple and like some beef was going down.
Oh, the temple. And
they kept throwing smoke bombs down. I'm like, I get it. They was smoke bombs.
They was like, terrorizing me with the smoke bombs for sure. What I would say that really helped me is, again, you know, doing the combos, staying on people. The thing that I actually switched from samurai sword to like the clubbing weapon. Like it's a big club, bro. That weapon, the sheer DPS this man can do. He's slow. He got long wind up. So if he's getting surrounded, you got to be careful. You got to be cognizant of that. If you're trying to execute people, you got to be cognizant of that because you know he's slow with the wind ups. But if you land, you are doing chunks of damage. And one thing I want to add before I forget is the other thing he has. I don't know if you tell me if Naoe has this. He's got like a single shotgun kind of a thing. It takes.
Nah, I don't have that.
It's like
I did pick up bows there towards the end of the demo, but I never put them on. But I do think she's got a bow if you want.
Okay.
The biggest thing I used was like, you know, she's designed to fight unique situations. First off, they want you to just be stealth like almost the whole time you
assassinate. So are you doing like the Tenchu assassinations? You're jumping off the roof on people, assassinate, sitting behind them, creeping behind them, slitting their throat kind of energy?
Yeah, because I tried because what I have noticed, and I feel like maybe this is just the you know selective situations, but I did notice as like being her, it felt like the game was designed a lot more from being Yusei in the ground perspective and not necessarily like going from rooftop to rooftop.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, there were options where you could open stuff. Like, let me ask you this, just so I can like clarify here. There's a part where you have to go fight someone in this tower. I had to climb to the top. Did you go through the bottom?
Bro, Yasuke had to go up steps. I had to go. He was going the long way and fight his way up.
You had to fight way up the tower. See, I just went into the top.
See, I couldn't do that. Yeah, I did. I have to look for the paths to go. And then the game, I will say this game, Assassin's Creed Shadow does something very interesting that I never seen with waypoints. They do not hold your hand with waypoints. They are
at
like, oh,
all.
they'll be
It's a
like,
little annoying.
it could be fun because sometimes it's like, okay, blue icon, this is the general area where you got to go.
They
You
call it
think
a scout
right,
option.
and then oh yeah, that's Scott. We're gonna talk about that. And you go there, and then it's like, okay, now you're there. There's a whole bunch of questions. You still got to invest. They're not pinpointing you to where you go. Once in a while, an NPC is that is important if they'll point you to him once in a while. But for the most part, you got to search. And then a lot of times, it's gathering up information from all these different waypoints to then come to another conclusion to then go to another waypoint. So it's about like investigative. And I guess that will lead me to the scout system, which I'm not familiar with. Again, if other Assassin's Creed, I remember I've not played Assassin's Creed
No,
in a
I
while.
don't think that's ever been in another
Okay.
Assassin's Creed because it caught me off guard.
Yeah. So this scout system is like you now for the purpose of the demo, they told us that you get a hideout where you could actually recruit people, and these are scouts. These are people
Did
that
you ever call any of those?
Now I did the demo.
Oh, I called them.
I called them in. So I called. You got the shinobi ones where they will be off rooftops. They'll throw a little dart. They'll throw a poison dart, try to assassinate someone for you. Then you got the other people where you could send them into the beef, and they will take on some other NPCs and fight with you. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was good. But tell me how your experience with the scouting and all that stuff, to open up objectives and things.
I did feel, and maybe it's just me, the UI is a little clunky.
Okay.
I feel like they need to improve on that,
Mm-hmm.
especially like the option thing. Like I don't mind like seeing the overall objective. These people you need to find. These people you need to find.
Mm-hmm.
I needed something else that pops up if I wanted to. That just shows me these are primaries. These are my secondaries. And I felt like maybe if that was there, I just didn't see it.
Gotcha.
Like I felt like it was like it was everywhere. Like,
Right.
like
No, I get you. And that, like I said, that it takes a bit of use because they really want you to kind of like scour the area, use this scouting system, use this network of people that you acquire during your quest to find information about people, and then also find out about the quest line. And I feel like the quest steps were pretty lengthy. You know what I'm saying? I felt like
they're definitely worthy of content.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt that was that. But that was that. And then obviously he has, he can crouch, but he's really not the sneak around guy. But I will say his combat is satisfying especially when you get into a parry flow and you start parrying the bigger enemies and you start cutting them down and you really start doing your special moves. And also I started to mess around when we talk about UI, some of the armors and stuff, the different weapon types. It has a little bit of Destiny in it, where it's like, legendary stuff, and then there's attributes, when you get, hits and kills, this could give you some more health, or you do more critical health damage with these type of weapons and things of that nature. So I start to see the looter in it, but not like a heavy loot system. But I notice every time you pick up loot, you have the opportunity to get things to improve your kit. And I thought that was a nice touch for, kind of like the end game and stuff like that. But what did you feel?
I felt like the combat was actually pretty nice, especially the equipment system. I did ask, and I don't know if my demos knew what I was talking about, but we know that there is some games where if you get a whole set of something, you get like an additional perk.
Oh, like set bonuses.
I asked them and they didn't seem to know what I was talking about, so I assume no. But what I will say is like they gave us some like legendary gear and some like I don't know if it was red or yellow gear. I think it was yellow.
Yeah.
But I had one where it was if I do an assassination, I threw a kunai at the person closest to me. And to me, it shows right there that this equipment is dramatically helping you play the way you want to play.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that's dope. That's dope, man. I definitely like to hear stuff like that. I want to ask you more because you got a chance to touch the ninja aspect. Like, is what I was gonna say. Like, how true do you feel the stealth is? Like, do you feel the stealth is not like half baked? Do you feel like it's a fully incorporated stealth ninja style of game if you play with Naoe exclusively?
It's got some good stealth. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Assassin's Creed. They've always been good at stealth to a degree. The only thing criticism I can give when it comes to the stealth is I do feel, just what I played is, level design have more options for her if she wants to do something different. Because it did feel like, when I was trying to get in certain buildings, there was no like latches or anything at the top of the houses or anything. I don't know if maybe that was just isolated to some of the buildings I was trying to get in.
Gotcha.
Maybe that's different in other parts of the map because
Mm-hmm.
I got a good look at the map with the map that was optioned me.
Mm-hmm.
The game is pretty big,
Yeah,
like
it's
the map
massive.
itself.
Oh my God, it is massive.
Yeah, so that's my biggest thing, and like I said, I don't know if that's going to be like a thing that you have to worry about closer in the game because we are in feudal Japan. And what I did like about it, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you want. Did you ever like die or anything? And like they showed you like scenes from Japan,
Yes.
and I was talking about Demos my man. He was like, I was like, that's different. He's like, yeah, that is different. I was like, oh, they really want we in Japan, like.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And I did. I was actually surprised. The game had dialogue choices at all. There were a lot of times when you speak to an NPC and then they want your feedback and it's based on what you say in the path like that. Did you
And that
encounter
there
that?
will be beef. There will be beef. My demo said that I answered questions in a way that no one's ever answered, and the people he's did with Assassin's Creed, and there was a fight that resulted in it. And
Mm.
like there's a part in the game where you got to chase after someone. Did you?
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Did you fight him?
Eventually, I had to. Eventually, but
Yeah.
he
Well,
kept running.
I only found him once,
Mm-hmm.
and my demo has said that like he's never seen no one fight that dude.
Mm.
And what's funny is when I fought him, they the guards and everything was getting involved. I'm like, dude, he hit me. He's trying to come at me. Why are you hitting me?
I
Like,
feel you. I feel you. No doubt, no doubt. So I mean, I was going to ask you. So I will say though, obviously, everything's subject to change. It's still a work in progress. I did encounter some issues as far as like the wanted system, because like again, here's my thing: the game wants you to play on controller. You want you to hold down left trigger and then kind of scan, right? So you're like, okay, you scan. That's an enemy. That's an enemy. Okay, cool. Some missions, like I'm walking in an area and I'm like, all right, I'm not exactly sure that I'm like, because I can't really be stealthily as Yasuke. Like you gotta kind of walk in.
yeah,
So
you could tell that they're very big on if you pick this person, this is the way you're playing.
yes, this is a play style. So I guess there was a couple of things where a couple of NBCs got on the steering and like, I was hitting one dude and he wasn't like reacting, and I was like, oh, what I'm saying, kind of thing. And I made them aware. But I think what I was confused about was like how the wanted level system works. You know what I'm saying? Because I know in most stealth games, like if a bunch of people see you, then it's on, and then that's not a situation you want. I'm assuming is Naoe. But for Yasuke, I was like, sometimes I felt I was triggering a lot of aggro, and I'm like, okay, is this normal because this is his play style, or did I do something wrong? Was I not supposed to attack this person, kind of thing?
It's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't really deal with that. Like I didn't
Mm.
deal with random people trying to like serve me L's. Like,
Because you
for
up
the
in the
most part,
Mhm.
I'm wondering if it's because you made people mad or you stand out in the world, and I
That's what I'm
don't.
wondering.
Like,
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm very curious about that. That was just something I documented. I'm like, okay. And then, like I said, we went through the map. We went through you had the horse. Obviously, I know. I'm assuming you had the horse. You had a horse too, as
yeah,
down the way you're moving around.
what did you have a name for your horse?
I can't remember.
I had a name for my horse.
I can't. I don't
Like
feel like no
she
for me.
felt like she was very close to her horse. Like
Mm,
like she
yeah, I
was
didn't have that
asking her
version.
horse questions and
Oh
stuff.
no, I didn't know that. Wow.
Like it was like not like she's trying to talk to the horse.
Yeah.
Like she's talking to herself through the horse. You
Through
know
the
what
horse.
I'm saying?
Okay. No, I definitely did explain that. What I experienced too is like one thing that I will say that the game does well is like there's some early set pieces where for Yasuke he is battling through the trenches of like full scale on samurai war, bloodshed, and you're fighting sometimes with your people, right? Alongside of you doing stuff. And it feels really satisfying, and you see the bloodshed, you see the gore, you see that stuff accumulating. And I thought that had a really good sense of like group combat as a moving together as a unit. And then I'm sorry, please.
I would say that's where I have to give them criticism for.
Okay, talk to me.
Is I did feel like because so for those of you that don't know, like they're constantly asking you, do you want to be him or her, him or her, him or
Yes,
her?
yes.
And I always picked her because I knew he was always going to pick him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very disappointed that I felt like because in my mind, when something like this happens, they're like, when you say like, "Oh, do you want to handle this?" If I accept it, he's doing something else that I know he's doing,
Right.
and I'm doing something else because that's what I should be doing. If did feel a little bit, maybe you can talk about this. That when I said no, I'm doing this. You say okay, I'm gonna sit over there and eat. Then I'll talk to you later. Like it did feel like he wasn't doing a lot if you didn't pick him, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But to me, if you have a two set person story like this, especially with two completely different narratives, because they have their own reasons for doing this. I don't know what his reason was. Mine was kind of like a revenge kind of thing, but I don't know what his was. So like it kind of doesn't make sense to me that like you have these decisions and just because you pick one of them, it doesn't feel like the other one's involved.
That's a good point because I did feel that with certain encounters, like you get there, both of them together, they get there at one, or they link up, and then there'll be like an encounter, right? And it's like, okay, the game's like, okay, who do you want to play as to do this? But when you pick that person, and in my case it's Yasuke all the time, it's like she'd be like, okay, go do that. Catch you later. It almost felt like, even though there was no word was saying, like I didn't see. Again, it's early in the game where we play, but I would have loved situations where I feel realistic. Well, okay, let's do this together, or at least let me see the involvement of the other character if we're supposed to be this team. And that's the little disconnect of the teamwork, I feel. Because
I would have liked incidences where it's like, okay, you take the higher ends, I'll take the courtyard.
Right.
And then I'm up at the top. Like it could happen. Like,
and it could happen again. We play with very early.
Hours.
Yeah, we like 4 hours of gameplay, y'all. Yeah.
I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
That's good amount of gameplay that we play, but it's not a lot at the same time.
Exactly, because this is a huge game. Yeah.
I expect like I'm on the rooftops and I'm looking down and I'm seeing you say fight in the courtyard,
That's
fighting
what
his way through.
Yeah.
There was a time where I had to sneak in and open a door for you, say. So maybe there's that more on it. Maybe there's reasons why it's going in there. I just felt from a story perspective, I hope that they improve on that later on in the game, or that's utilized better.
I agree. And I think it's fair to say that, obviously we probably even scratch the surface of this game, and there's probably encounters that probably satiate what we want, right? But we have to talk about what we played, and from what we played at this point, we were just like, okay, we just want more of that. What I will say though, I had a little boss encounter, and I liked it, man. It was on the edge of my seat, kind of thing. The bosses, again, what they really do well is like they will put the pressure on consecutive, what I consider strong attacks, where you get the glowing blue or the glowing red, and if you see that glowing red attack, you better dodge. There will not be, and they can parry and break your guard and do stuff to you as well. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought
it's funny.
What?
The reason I was getting demolished so bad at the beginning is because I'm used to you parrying once. That's good enough.
Yes.
Like on this game, you have to parry the amount of his combo to get an opening. So if he's going to hit you with 3 blue attacks, you have to parry all 3 of those to get an opening in his combo.
Absolutely. And I will say, like, when you get your parries that flow and then into your combos, whether it be is it your right bumper, whether it was a light attack, strong attack, right trigger, hard attack, strong attack, then it starts to get to a little bit of a dance. You start to get into the flow, and then when you get them executions, you start cooking. Again, it's Yasuke. It's all about the executions and the brutality and the physicality of y'all. Like, I am imposing my way. I do feel like a little mini tank sometimes. Now, the thing where he gets in trouble, if multiple quick enemies are around him, he starts getting surrounded. Not that he can't take on people, but you got to really, in my opinion, start using your special abilities, you know what I'm saying, to really
what's funny?
Bully people. Yeah.
You having that mindset, my game plan was not engage in those conversations. like, cause I did feel like when I played with you, say at the beginning, when they made you,
how did you feel when you played briefly?
I felt a little invincible.
Yes,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I felt like I could take on this whole courtyard. Like he would fight 8 people, and it would be the difficulty of me fighting one person.
Yeah, I got it. But what I will give again, my one level that we play, I'm assuming prologue, whatever it was that we played. I played as her. What I liked is you ain't get into them kunai where you could throw them kunai from
Yeah, yeah.
far.
You can get them up out of there
Up out of
completely.
there. Like I like, and then
So
she
he
got
doesn't have kunai.
hell no. He ain't
See,
got
I
the
like that, man. Like I know I've been saying it, but I love the different style of
complete different.
combat. This is
Yeah.
the first Assassin's Creed where they let you be
Hmm.
like a more of a brute force unit without forcing you to be an
Now
assassin.
he got that long, slow loading shotgun, boom. But you
But he laying
reload,
that. He
yeah. And
laying
then
that.
they're trying to land that when samurais and shinobi coming at you. Crazy. And I want to give your chick credit, no, not away. Again, the level they let me do. She not only she can like, not Yasuke can identify. He can look through an area, identify each enemy, right? She could do that, but then she has some like, oh, I can do ninja heat vision
Yeah.
joint.
And there was an equipment I could have where if I get seen, it slows time down. When I start to get
Mm.
seen, it slows
And
time
it
down.
almost like you had the red outline of where people are at on certain things, and then that grappling hook, and I'm like, oh, she moving around. So I did enjoy like the one level that I did get a chance to play with again early in the game. I was just like, wow, and just her movement of climbing up and descending is way different. Like he is just blumbering, bumbling. He's going down. Like she's just flowing, she's flipping, she's doing all the ninja style. I was like, it's a vibe with her. I definitely, but yeah,
Yeah,
I see she get hit a couple times. It's all right.
yeah, it's bad. Like it really is. Like I was getting to the point, man, where like I was fighting two or three little people.
Yeah.
Like that time in the temple with all those people surrounding me, that was rough. But I felt like it would have been a lot easier for you
Yeah, I mean, it was still on because they when the big boys come, don't get
because
me
they
wrong.
outnumbering you.
Yeah, it's just so many. And then what it is I remember I've been playing Assassin's Creed in a while. You've got it. I kind of was terrible with my target lock. Because you guys that plays the Souls games, so you guys are
Yeah,
target lock
yeah.
guys. I used to. So me, I'm playing free, and I'm like, I should be target locking, but I'm so worried about somebody, trying to take me out from behind and all this other stuff. So it was an adjustment period for
And
me. And I know it's just me need to play Assassin's Creed games. I haven't played them in a while and get my, that muscle memory up. Because another thing, as a person who plays traditional action adventure, I'm used to like X button is attack, and this is no, bro. Right bumper is attack, right trigger is an attack, and all the B button is doing is rolling out the way and stuff like that. It's not. I got to take that muscle memory, and then I started to get better as I continued on, and I really started beating bosses later. But early I was struggling because I had to get used to being in an Assassin's Creed game like this.
yeah, I felt like the combat in this game
Mm-hmm.
can be very challenging at times,
Yeah.
especially depending on who you pick. Man, biggest thing I have to give them props for is that combat. Like I
Mm.
was very because Kitsubu didn't. He's like, oh, they're gonna play more like Ghost of Tsushima. I was like, no, like I don't think you should be completely saying everything because when he's sitting there looking at these trailers and he feels like the gameplay they announced a couple weeks ago, he's always like, "Oh, it's playing like Ghost of Tsushima." And when I played this, I felt to myself, it's not Ghost of Tsushima, but it does lean more into some of the mechanics that Ghost of Tsushima has.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, maybe Yusei did. Was there any stance changes with Yusei?
He did have a thing where I hold down the button, and he did kind of get into something. And then if I
I had
unleash
none of
that,
that.
yeah, if I unleash that, it would do serious damage. It's a charge if you put yourself at risk being in that for a little bit. But it was I did notice that I love it. It looked kind of fire. I ain't going front. It felt good.
Yes. What's your closing opinions on this, man?
Yeah.
I felt like they did the story good. Like I said, I know there's a lot of conflicting things on how people are handled. The first time they go to Japan, one of the protagonists is African American, black. But to me, well, not African American, but black. Well, to me, I felt like they did that well. I felt like they told her story being told well. I'm actually like I left that extremely satisfied, and to the point where I'm like these these people on Twitter need to go somewhere. Like,
Look,
because it was just like I'm sitting here playing this, and I was grading from like ear to ear because like it was just fun. It was fun to play, and I think a lot of people lose track of that at the end of the day.
yeah,
Like, I get it, the industry got its own issues.
right.
Every industry got issues, but it's like, you know, it was fun.
Yeah.
And I can't say that about every game I play. Like,
Right. No, listen, everybody's mileage is going to vary. Also, it depends on your play style that you prefer. Obviously, you want stealth or you want, the samurai kind of more powerful kind of style. As far as the story itself, look, it's going to be down to, that's always, you can't really tell because some people go like, yeah, they're treating this authentic. This is how it's supposed to be. They're saying, all he is this, you know what I'm saying? Or, they're saying, oh, eventually he's that. And so there's always going to be that discussion. You
there's
may not,
always going to be
yeah.
the bad actors.
Yeah, there's always going to be people who are going to feel a way either way, right? But to your point with the gameplay, again, my thing is I thought the combat for the most part was fun and satisfying. We gotta
And
play.
we had a delay. Got to keep that in mind, guys. We had a
Yeah.
delay because we were streaming the game.
Right. So again, my concerns at first was just like, man, based on the conditions of how we playing it, if this is representative of a final product, it still could need some tweaking. It could use some polish. But again, when we see more stuff and as I'm playing more of it, and I'm like, okay, now I'm seeing what's going on here. I think that it's going to be a better experience. The key is going to be this: how this narrative goes. Is it satisfying? That's going to be the key determinant on this thing. And if people don't feel the quests are, because again, one thing I felt bad, I didn't do, because I wanted to get as much content for the realm, right?
We don't have a lot of time.
We don't have a lot of time. 4 hours is not enough time.
Probably just an hour of cutscenes.
Right. Cutscenes are long. Like, they are giving you cutscenes. That's a good point. So I made it my business to say, okay, since we got limited time and I want to get to the end of this demo, I'm going to minimize the amount of side quests I'm doing. So I really couldn't put side quests through its paces because we played other games and sometimes those side quests are so good kind of thing. So I didn't get a chance to really do that. I did some little mini thing where you kind of like sneaking up on animals and getting pictures and getting bonus secrets and stuff like that. And I did mess around for a little bit with the skill tree and getting ability points and putting Yasuke had a lot of different things he can apply as a samurai, as a warrior, and all these or weapons and stuff like that. So you can see there's depth there. So again, these are early impressions, y'all. So far, way better than I thought it was going to be. We still got some things that I feel that need to be cleaned up, and I don't know how the story is going to go, but so far, so good, I would say. I would definitely say I didn't walk away like, yo, I'm completely disgusted with this, and it definitely looked like they took a little bit more time. But let's see if they land this plane, man.
We got till March too.
Yeah, we got till March.
We'll got plenty of time. I enjoyed it, man. I hope that what I played of it, because I didn't feel, this is like, I'm a few of these previews in at this point. I personally didn't feel like this was. Because I know that's what a lot of people are like, oh, did they set this up to deceive you? Is it like cut the good parts of the game? I didn't feel that way. I felt like this. They let us play the beginning. They let us play some of the middle, and to me, that is what the game's gonna be. Now, obviously, we have to see the game to get it.
Right.
But I cannot sit here and like tell you that like this preview sold me on the game. Like it did. Like it sold me on the game.
For me, I came in low expectation, and then I said, okay, solid. Now I'm not all the way where you're at yet. I'm like, I want to see what skills you give me. I want to see, because remember, I'm doing the Yasuke experience. I felt your experience is Naoe off top is like leveled up. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like if you play her, you feel more Assassin's Creedy, and I feel like Yasuke is more Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So I'm interested to see the evolution of both characters, especially Yasuke, when his skill tree is built up, what that looks like, what other abilities I get. Like this, we didn't scratch the surface yet, so it's so much more to see before we. And again, story. Because if they don't tell a good story, then it's gonna be mad. They got to tell a good story. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
So, I think that's pretty much all. It's like I said, we both played 4 hours. I played one character. Cognito played the other. I would say this checkbox most of the aspects of the game that I would particularly enjoy. And obviously, there's some things that we got to see.
Yeah.
I got to see how the story narrative, continues. This does to me feel like a 70, 80 hour game.
Yeah.
Because if I put like a couple hours just in the combat, I didn't really feel like I did anything in the demo, to be honest with you.
Factual.
So I'm looking forward to it. And here's the thing. I got no problem calling games out. This is a good game, and I hope that the whole game is representation of what I played in the 4 hours.
No doubt. Agreed, man. Again, shout out to Ubisoft, for allowing us to preview, what I'm saying, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Highly anticipated. We know they took the extra time to try to put more polish, and we know it's a key game for them. But yeah, we're looking forward to see what happens, man. And so far, so good.